let's take a moment. Let's rest in gallery view just for a moment and just take in the Sangha and just let ourselves settle into uh, the sense of being together. The happiness that we can have from just sensing these kind hearts here. Knowing that each of these hearts really wishes you well. And take some time to really receive the well wishes of each person here. Let yourself just drink that in. For all the precious hearts that are here on this call. And so, actually, let's just wave to each other just before we go back to speaker view. Hello, everybody. Sending good wishes, each person sending good wishes. And you can even go look on the next page. See who's on the next page. Oh, there's Karen and Brett and Sophia and Ozan, Geraldine, Darren. Hello, Leanne, Deb, and Diane R. Welcome, welcome. Just take a moment and send and receive care and appreciation for each person here. Just letting their faces be light in your own heart. And knowing that your presence here is precious. And so if we want to go to speaker view, we can, but maybe we can just let it, but maybe just in a minute or two. It's so lovely to drink in everyone's face, but I know people, okay, you can decide, Andrea, when to switch back. So friends, in the last few weeks, we've been practicing together and practicing practices that can support the heart and the mind in this time of challenge and uncertainty. And we've been, each of us is in a different situation. There are some of us who are at home, hunkering down as an action of care for the whole community. Some of us who are at work in stores or transport or other essential services, and want to dedicate the merit of this practice to you and to those also who are working in the community with the most vulnerable people here in our city, in our world. And some of us are healthcare workers as well who are working with Bodhisattva hearts. And so really want to hold the healthcare workers and everyone who is in those arenas with our greatest care. Everyone here is beloved, and we want to hold those people who are acting from their Bodhisattva hearts for the benefit of all of us with great care, and we want you to know that you're loved. And of course, we have folks here from Canada and also folks from other countries, and want to recognize that we're all in different circumstances, but connected in this capacity for wise response. And so we can rest in the refuges of our own inner capacity for wise response. We can rest into the refuge of the teachings. These teachings that keep us grounded, steady, stable, that care for the heart, that help us touch wisdom in how to respond. And also the refuge of the community or the Sangha. And so resting in the sense of community here, the sense of your other communities of friends, family, neighbors, who we are in connection with even in this time, of course, of physical distance. and the community of Treaty 6 here in Saskatchewan, which unites people of all traditions, and the community of nature, which is supporting us with every breath. And the community of our ancestors. All of these communities we can rest into the support of. And so tonight I thought I would talk a little bit more. We've also been practicing the heart practices, kindness in the midst of things, and compassion for ourselves and others, for the community. And so I thought I would talk tonight about another heart quality, the quality of gratitude or joy, these two close cousins. And we have these 4 heart qualities in our tradition called the divine abodes, or the places that we can rest, our true home, our true abode. And these 4 heart qualities are kindness, compassion, joy or gratitude, and equanimity. And these support each other. And so joy or gratitude, we've talked about this in other times, but I want to focus particularly on joy and gratitude tonight, because sometimes we think, well, it's not really good to feel lots of joy or gratitude, and especially in these times, but it's all right to settle into at least a little flavor of joy and gratitude, because for its own sake, it gladdens the heart, but also because joy and gratitude being a gratitude for our own joys, and joy often meaning a joy or happiness in other people's joy. We can let our minds and hearts be gladdened by this, and it can support the heart to be both compassionate and equanimous. If we have an imbalance, we can fall into some overwhelm with compassion. And we can fall into some needing to distance or feel a little indifferent with equanimity. And so joy or gratitude gladdens the heart, calms the heart, stabilizes and steadies the heart, so that we have more capacity for compassion and equanimity. And so joy or gratitude, even a little bit, we don't need a lot of it, and we're not talking about big fireworks kind of joy, even a little bit. It's like joy or gratitude can be the yeast in the bread. If we have a little bit of that, it can affect the whole quality of the heart. And so we want to just celebrate or recognize this together tonight. So I'm going to lead a meditation for folks who are new here with us tonight. Lead a meditation for about 25 minutes, and then I'll offer some reflections, and then we'll have a chance to share together. And so I'm going to lead a meditation which will invite us to look in a few places for a little bit of gratitude or a little bit of joy. So are we on speaker view now, Andrea? Okay, great. I'm on gallery because I like to see everyone's faces. So just settling into a sense of your body sitting. And as we settle in, even though we can't see everyone's faces, just knowing that everyone is here, knowing that each kind heart here wishes for your well-being. We can rest into, as we begin, rest into this sense of community, of connection. And just sensing, I'll invite a few places to look for gratitude, and they might not all fit for you, but just sensing, is there any sense of a little tiny flavor of happiness, a little tiny flavor of gratitude or relief, or something that is connected with sensing the community, sensing connection. And sensing the body sitting on the chair. Letting the breath feel the belly. Noticing if there's any places like the belly, sometimes we hold it tightly in our day, and we can check in. Are we holding the belly in a certain way? Can we let it fall down, fall forward? Sensing into the shoulders and seeing how they're doing, and sensing what happens with our kind attention, our kind allowing attention. Is there any softening in the shoulders? Sometimes there is, and if there is, we can allow it. And we can also invite softness in the shoulders. And then we can hold just softly whatever is here in the shoulders, just as it is. And sensing into the face and inviting the face to soften. Just sensing if there's any sense of, in this sense of care that we're showing in our mindfulness and our care to the belly, the shoulders, the face. Is there any sense of relief or connection or care that might bring a little bit of gratefulness? There might be a little bit of gratitude there for this capacity to show ourselves care. For the capacity of care in the world. Inviting whatever ease might be available in the whole body, sensing the whole body sitting. Inviting whatever ease is available, and seeing if there's any kind of relief or relaxing into or great gratitude for ease, this quality of ease. There's nothing to do right now, nothing to fix, nothing to change. And sensing into the body sitting on the chair. This whole body. And sensing the breath moving inside the body. The mind will move away to thinking, and it'll come back by itself, and we can always return to the sensations of the body sitting and breathing. This body steady here on the chair. Noticing any sense of steadiness and Seeing if there's any sense of gratefulness for that steadiness, maybe. Noticing that you can settle into the body and the breath, rest back and receive the sensations. No need to try hard, no need to strive. And seeing if there's any sense of gratitude for this, resting back for this practice. Just resting in this movement as the mind will move away and come back, and then resting back into the body and the breath for the rest of our meditation time. Thank you so much, everyone, for your practice. And at this point, we often like to bring everyone's names into the circle. How does that feel, Andrea, if we do that now? Should we try?
Sure. We've got about a dozen people watching on Facebook, including Carol and Grace and Elise and Susan and Hicham and Catalina and Bernadette, Lisa and Greg. And on Zoom, we've got Andrea, Jeannie, Brett, Cheryl, Darren, Deb, Diane, Donna, Doris, Doug, Geraldine, Glad, Heather, Jennifer, Joyce and George, Karen. I don't see if Kim. Oh yeah, Keen's there too. Hi, Keen. Kim, Lori, Leanne, Leif, Margaret, Marilyn, Mars, Myra, Neil, Ozin, Rachel, Renee, Robbie, Bob and Carol, Rod, Sandra, Sheila, Sophia, Susan, Tracy. Welcome, Yang and Diane. So we've got a beautiful community here to join us. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Andrea. And thanks, everyone, for your kind presence. It's beautiful to connect with everybody and to connect with folks who we don't normally get to connect with, who are not in Saskatoon. So welcome to folks from BC and Quebec and also down in the States. I said this earlier, but my friend Young is here tonight from my IMS training cohort, everybody. It's kind of special to have you here, Young. So thanks for joining us. And this is my colleague, everybody. Beautiful Young. And it's very special to have him here in our beautiful Sangha. And so these qualities of gratitude and joy, gratitude for things of that our own happinesses and joy for happinesses of others, are just, even as I was saying, just a little bit can support the heart and the mind and sustain the heart and the mind. And the little gratitude that maybe you felt in the meditation, maybe there was a little gratitude at the various places that I invited us to look. Sometimes gratitude, hides. And so it's, and the joy of the practice hides. And so it's good to take a look in places we don't normally take a look. And, the Buddha had some really, had gratitude and joy as a very important part of the freedom of the heart and the mind. He said, what is the fruit of this joy, this gratitude? And I said that the joy, the fruit of this joy and gratitude is that it can gladden the heart and also calm the heart. And then he said, what is the fruit of this calming of the heart? The fruit of this calming of the heart is a deepening into equanimity. And what is the fruit of equanimity? It's a capacity in the heart and the mind to be steady in the midst of things and to let go of clinging and to find and to open up into freedom, liberation. And so this gratitude and joy has a really important role in the mind, having the capacity to find freedom, open up into that spaciousness and that place of wise response. Who knew? And so the Buddha talked about two kinds of gratitude or joy. And they're both important. And the first one is an outer joy, or what is sometimes called a worldly joy. The joy or the gratitude that we can have in the outer conditions, in the sense pleasures of our life and the things that we encounter in our daily life, things like nature and friends and family and the joy of being in community and the way the light came in the window today and that really yummy avocado that I got to eat for lunch And the fact that I could walk and have fresh air today, the fact that I have glasses that help me see your faces more clearly. Like all these little things of gratitude can support the heart and support the mind. And I have a beautiful poem about this from Rosemerry Wahtola Trommer, who is almost the only poet I'm reading these days. Like she's the poet for our times. If you don't know her, she's just so beautiful. This is a poem that she sent around today. She has a daily poem you can get on her email list. It's like a daily teaching. So this is called Not the What, but the How. Mostly we forget. Mostly the singular moments that felt so important, remarkable even, slip like raindrops into a pond. Most of my life is blur, is watercolor. But let me clearly remember tonight, dyeing my daughter's hair blue, singing along to the radio, laughing about nothing in particular. What I want to remember is how little it takes to make a moment light up from within, light up like dew infused by the sun, each moment a teacher, our own home, the temple. Each of us will have these moments, I'm sure, from today. And if sometimes they feel scarce, sometimes they feel like they're hiding, then we can put our radar out for them. And the more we put our radar out for them, the more they can appear. Each moment a teacher, our own home, the temple. And then the Buddha also talked about another kind of joy, another kind of gratitude, an inner gratitude, an inner joy, sometimes called a spiritual joy, that's not dependent on conditions outside, exterior. That's it's more an internally generated state of, or presence, or sense of gratitude or joy. And this inner joy can be a quality, an inner quality that we cultivate. Gratitude for the inner conditions we have in our own heart and mind. For example, we could be grateful. I'm very grateful for the quality of gratitude itself. Like, how would my heart survive without the capacity to feel gratitude? I feel so grateful for that. Sometimes we miss it. Sometimes it's hiding. And then we can feel grateful for that have come together for us to be able to practice. And this wasn't always the case for me. I didn't always have the inner conditions to practice. And I know that we can all think back to a time when we didn't have the inner conditions to practice, the inner capacity to practice, the inner intention, or what the motivation that would bring us to practice. And we can be grateful for that and grateful for the practice itself. I just have to think about that and I feel grateful. So grateful, especially when I think back 10, 15 years. And if we feel into the practice, we feel into that practice, we can feel into what parts of that practice we might have some confidence in. I know that if I rest in the breath, that's supportive. I know that if I remember I can choose kindness, that can be supportive. And so when we have a knowing or something we know or feel confident about in the practice, just think right now, feel into what you might have confidence in the practice. What is it that brought you here tonight? Feel into that confidence, and then to see the Buddha invites us to look at confidence and see if there can be a little happiness at having that confidence. And that's a source of happiness, a source of gratitude and joy that can gladden the mind, calm the system, support equanimity, and support freedom in the mind. You know, I met a friend today, a new friend in a Zoom group I'm in, and this morning, so I was in the Zoom group this morning. We met people, and there were people there from all over the world, and there was a man there from India, and he was describing the situation there. We were all describing how it is for us right now, and he was describing the situation there, and you know, he was describing that it's quite difficult for many of the people there for whom there is no social net or support the way we may have here in Canada or even in the States. And he said it was very painful for him to see that. And we all just were there with him in that. And we were quiet for a while and offered, you know, just simply our support. And it felt there was a little bit of gladness there, a little bit of happiness that we could offer, that I felt that we could offer him simply our silent support. And some of us shared words as well, but to just be there with him in that painful experience. It's not a big happy, it's not a big fireworks happy, but there was a little bit of gladness in my heart that practice was there and we could hold that together. I have another friend from South Africa who shared some of what's happening for her in her country, and that, you know, she shared that there's a lot of painful situations there for her. And again, there was a group of us and we were able to be with her in that. And it didn't make it go away, it didn't fix it, but there was some small happiness in being there with her. And afterwards, she said that it was good just to share. And so the practice can bring a little bit of confidence in these times and a little bit of a certain flavor of gratitude and joy right here in the midst of difficulty. And then this friend shared also some of the, after this occurred, she shared some of the wonderful things that are happening in South Africa, including 2 young men who have developed a mask, a protective mask, out of very simple, accessible material that is benefiting a lot of people. And her joy at the joy of these joyful things happening in her country was a joy then that I enjoyed her joy. I loved her joy. And so we can have a joy, a gratitude in other people's joy. And that can support our heart. So we can open to that aspect and that place of looking for joy and gratitude. And then the Buddha offered 3 additional places of looking for this kind of inner gratitude or inner joy. And these 3 are letting go. Now, that might not sound so joyful, but I'll explain it. The joy of letting go, the joy of metta, the joy of caring, and the joy of clarity. And so the metta, or the joy of caring, is one that we cultivate here, and we know as a capacity in our heart for caring and kindness and compassion. And sometimes we can feel overwhelmed with compassion. And if we do start to feel overwhelmed with compassion, we can know actually that that's overwhelm, that's not compassion. And we can back up, and this is when we might need to balance with some gratitude or joy to help balance the heart back into the compassion that can feel balanced. And compassion itself has a pleasant feeling to if you feel into how good it feels to be able to support someone, how good it feels to be able to help someone, just that without the overwhelm, but say you've got all the resources, you've got all the capacity you need to support someone, and you do, it feels good in the heart. That's the compassion. And that generosity of care is a support for our own heart. So we can tune into that quality. And then the second quality that the Buddha has in this special category of 3 qualities is renunciation, or letting go. And there's a special happiness in letting go. And one of the ways we can understand that now is a letting go into what's here, a letting go of struggle with what's here. The other day I was on another call and friends there were talking about this, and the letting go of just, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well, the uncertainty of the times and how we want to struggle for certainty. And sometimes it can feel a relief to just be able to say, this is uncertainty. This is the way it is. And you know what? I would like some certainty. And that's the way it is too. So we can let go of needing things to be a certain way. Let go of the struggle to try to make things be a certain way. Oh, there's some tiredness here. Oh, there's some exhaustion here. Oh, there's some discombobulation here. I'm working at home, it's true, but there's also this other, it's like working at home, as another friend said the other day, under stress, under crisis. It's not just a vacation at home. Oh, it's like, oh, I'm a little bit unsettled. This is the way it is right now. We can hold that with care, and there can be a relief in thinking it's wrong or we're wrong for feeling it. It's the way it is. And the heart can hold that with care. There can be a kind of a little tiny bit of relief, a little tiny bit of, we might say, gratitude to be able to rest. Oh, this is how it is. And when we have, so I'm going to just, this softening, I have a poem for that, or this kind of letting go, this kind of stopping trying so hard. Where the Buddha said there can be a special kind of happiness there, a little bit of joy. This is again from Rosemerry, Wahtola, Trommer. It's a poem called Soften, she said. In these darkened days, I think of the potato that, left in the pantry, will grow long white arms to reach for light. There is, of course, a beauty in reaching. But today I think of Augusta, who taught me the beauty of softening. How the same reaching effect can be achieved by focusing on the part that isn't reaching, letting it soften. Soften, she said. Soften. And it was as if I were new in my body. The effect was the same, the method the opposite. I love how I didn't know there was something so beautiful yet to learn about letting go. I love these lessons in softening. How on this morning I learn again to relax, to unstrive, to unreach, to lean into ease, and like a camellia blossom in the dark of winter to open, to find such sweet release. Who knew that there could be that happiness in letting go, in softening, of just letting go of even trying to make things different, that reaching. I didn't know. I love how I didn't know there was something so beautiful yet to learn about letting go. I love these lessons in softening.
how on this morning I learn again to relax, to unstrive, to unreach, to lean into ease. And that doesn't mean that things are easy. That doesn't mean that we're going to be relaxed. It means we relax about being agitated, or we feel an ease about being uneasy. It's all included. There's nothing left out of the practice. It's a kind of a funny thing to feel that we might be able to feel an ease at feeling a challenging state. It's not, it's kind of a paradox. So that's the second kind of spiritual happiness that the Buddha really pointed us to. And the third is that when we can relax like that, we can often see things clearly. And this clarity can also bring a kind of a happiness, this seeing the truth of how it is. There can be a kind of a relief. Oh yeah, that's how it is. Oh yeah, that's what it is. We've kind of been avoiding, and when we finally see it, there can be a kind of a sense of letting ourselves ease back a little bit. This seeing clearly also cultivates our capacity then to respond wisely. Bring in all of our practices to respond with love and care and wisdom in the world. And so I'll close this with one more poem, and then I'll summarize a little bit. There's one more poem from Rosemerry called Urgency. And speaking to this, this urge to fix, to strive, the release of that, the seeing clearly, and how we can respond with that. And she says, again, the urge to bring gauze to the broken world and medicine and a plaster cast. Again, the urge to fix things, to heal them, to make them right. Again, the chance to do the work, which is to look in, to touch the pain but not become it, to see the world exactly as it is and still write it a love letter, to meet what is cracked with clarity, to mirror and grow whatever beauty we find. And so the Buddha would invite us into these practices of gratitude and joy, these outer joys of the world that we live in, the sensual pleasures that we have, and also the inner gratitudes and joys of the inner qualities, the inner conditions we have, the inner capacity for caring, for letting go, for clarity. Sense into these as a way of supporting our equanimity, supporting our capacity to wisely respond in the world. And so what I would like us to do, just to explore this together just a little bit, is to invite you to sense into what it is that you might be grateful for right now. An outer pleasure, an outer moment from today or the last few days. Sense of, I had one today. I heard about another beautiful, of course, in our community, CHEP, and also the Alliance, which is caring for the folks. Can someone help me? I'm just throwing a small little blank on CHEP. Someone who's working with that organization can help me with that, what the CHEP stands for. Someone needs to unmute themselves and let me know.
I have to allow that. I think it's child education or child hunger and education. Child hunger and education or something like that.
Program, child hunger and education program. Okay, thank you. So I had a gratitude today for CHEP because they're working with the folks in Saskatoon who need grocery deliveries and supply deliveries to their homes. and they've got deliveries happening between 11 and 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. And I just felt such gratitude for that in the community. And so that was a gratitude I had today. Think back what your gratitudes are. It might be for your pet, for your animals, for your family, for the beautiful sunlight you saw today. And just think for yourself for a moment, what is a small thing or a big thing that you're grateful for right now? Your family. What is a small thing in this outer gratitude that you're grateful for? Just have it in your mind. And then think inside about what you might be grateful for inside. What quality are you grateful for? I'm grateful for the ones that I mentioned today, and also grateful for patience, this beautiful quality of patience. So I'm grateful for mindfulness, the capacity for mindfulness. And all the other things we mentioned today, the capacity for confidence, the capacity for care, kindness, compassion, gratitude, equanimity, for letting go, for wise response. So what is it inside that you're grateful for? So now I'm going to invite us into a group practice. We're going to have I want to invite us a little bit of fun with Zoom. So I'd like us all to learn how, myself included, to use the chat box. And I'd like you to type in your gratitude. So you could type just one of whatever you thought of, or more if you like. And I'm going to read some of them out loud so that we can all share these gratitudes together. So type something, go ahead and type something in your chat box to share with folks. Oh, nachos for supper from Karen. It's great. Yum. Humor. Beautiful from Myra. Oh my gosh. Okay. They're pouring in. Just let me, okay. Oh yes. Okay. So I'm going to get the hang of this. I might have to ask Andrew to help me out, but nachos for supper, humor, ping pong hugs. Oh, I'd love to know what that is, but it sounds really good. That I can go for a walk and see hares, good health, my grandbaby, weekly chats with friends. Oh, my kids, the cat, Botticelli. Of course, who wouldn't be grateful for a cat named Botticelli? Sunshine this morning. Dear friends on the path. I'm so grateful to be born and live in this country, Canada. Hey, new underwear. The strength to be. So grateful for metta, the river path, bird song. I'm going to keep reading, but everyone just notice what's happening in your own being right now. Poetry. My son Eli cozying up with me this morning. My son in NYC phoning every day. Walking in the swale. Equanimity. Music, the banjo. My dog. Daily FaceTime with my daughter and granddaughter. Grateful to be here and now with you all. Quietude. Warm suppers. Several community members making masks for Métis elders and veterans and other vulnerable individuals in our community. Getting to see and play and sing and snuggle with my beautiful little granddaughter through the week. The practice. Oh my gosh, how did that feel to hear those things and read those things? Okay, here's another reminder of how important our friends are in the fabric of our lives. I'm grateful also, here's another one. I'm grateful for letting go of the idea of having a schedule, of writing my autobiography, and of learning Italian. Grateful that I have Buddhist practice at the center of my life. Oh, here's another one. Neighbors clapping and drumming to support healthcare and other frontline workers. Yes, I'm grateful for the healthcare workers. Absolutely. Sending lots of love to them. So thank you everybody for your beautiful, okay, more and more sidewalk messages from neighborhood kids. Great. Oh, morning walks with coffee in hand and sun on my face. Beautiful. So let's let those in to the heart, and hearts and windows, Lori says. Let's let that in and just open it up now for any other comments, shares, reflections on this evening, on any other gratitudes or joys, and the capacity this has to support the heart. Feel what's happening in your own heart right now.